tell you something. To ask for more sunshine than we have here this morning, you'd be a little bit unreasonable. Man, oh man, oh man, what a bright, beautiful Tuesday morning it is here in Grenada. Thank you very much for joining us for the Tuesday edition of Gudday Grenada. I'm George Grant on the 3rd of the 3rd, 2020. Welcome to Gudday Grenada, friends. Thanks for joining us. As always, we did try our best to put together a neat little program for you this morning, and I certainly hope you'll be able to make it with us throughout the next hour. If not, always feel free. Go on back to Facebook, maybe about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes after the program has ended, and you can watch it all over again at your leisure, okay? And when you go to, for those of you who aren't too Facebook oriented, you can also go to YouTube. The program is not live there yet. It will be, but we are archived on YouTube. And while you're there, remember to click on the subscribe button. Remember that? Okay. In addition, you can always watch us, like right now, you can also watch us on GRENADABROADCAST.com. So there you have it, my dear friends. That's your little lineup on this Tuesday morning. Now, let's get down to brass tacks. I take a deep breath because I didn't think I'd be having to tell you this type of stuff anymore, but that's Grenada for you. Many of you have probably heard the news by now that a number of Chinese nationals were not allowed to land at the Maurice Bishop International Airport yesterday. Yeah, some more arrived, and last I heard, they were not allowed to land. There's a piece which was put out by the New Today, and I'm going to be sharing that with you as the morning goes on. Just a few minutes. Then, because of all the talk nowadays about the coronavirus, there are a lot of unanswered questions, and we're going to try and answer some of the frequently unanswered questions about the virus. Yes, we do have the national report for you this morning. That's coming your way in a little bit. And just spoke with Mr. Roberts a couple of minutes ago. Roberts is not going to be joining us electronically. He is coming to sit right here in this little chair. Okay, so we're looking forward to welcoming Mr. Roberts and see what he's got up his sleeve on this Tuesday morning. So you ready? Let's get going. This is a piece which appeared in the New Today online yesterday. Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Francis Martin will not confirm or deny reports that another plane carrying Chinese nationals landed on Monday afternoon at the Maurice Bishop International Airport. When contacted by a reporter from the New Today newspaper, Dr. Martin said he was not authorized to speak on the matter. He said that after all the necessary procedures were followed, that either he or the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health would address the issue. But 15 minutes later, Health Minister Nicholas Steele confirmed that the plane with the Chinese national did land at the airport. However, Minister Steele said that Grenada would not allow the passengers to disembark and was turning the Chinese away since they were on mainland China in the last 14 days. He indicated that the plane came to Grenada from Cape Verde, speculation is rife that the Keith Mitchell government in St. George is looking to bring in Chinese investors to do a number of projects on the island. So says the New Today. By the way, the dreaded and deadly coronavirus, which began in China late last year, is now responsible for many deaths around the world. Okay? So, yeah, I'm sure that Ray is going to have something to say about that when he gets here. Now, here we go. What is COVID-19? It used to be known as the coronavirus. Well, now it's being called COVID-19. This is an illness which began in Wuhan. It is caused by a member of the coronavirus family, which has never been encountered before. Like other coronaviruses, it has come from animals. Many of those initially infected either worked or frequently shopped in the Huanan seafood wholesale market in the center of the Chinese city. So that answers one, about the virus. Two, what are the symptoms this virus causes? The virus can cause pneumonia. Those who have fallen ill are reported to suffer from coughs, fever, and breathing difficulties. In severe cases, there can be organ failure. As this is viral pneumonia, antibiotics are of no use. Don't even try it. The antiviral drugs we have against flu will not work. Recovery depends on the strength of the immune system. Many of those who have died were already in poor health. Keep that in mind. So if you're strong and tough, I'm not telling you to ignore it, but chances of you getting hit are a little less. Should I go to my doctor if I have a cough? In the UK, the medical advice is that if you have recently traveled from areas affected by coronavirus, you should A, stay indoors and avoid contact with other people, as you would with the flu, and B, call your medical practitioner to inform him or her of your recent travel to the areas concerned. All right, next question. How many people have been affected? Well, as of yesterday, the outbreak has affected an estimated 87,000 people globally. In mainland China, of the 80,026 confirmed cases, 44,462, that's about 56%, have recovered. And 2,912, that's about 3.6%, have died. The coronavirus has spread to at least 30 other countries. The most badly affected include Japan, with 850 cases, including 691 from that cruise ship that was docked in Yokohama. And there have been 4 deaths among those as well, okay? Italy has recorded at least 1,100 cases. They have had 29 deaths, while South Korea has recorded more than 4,212 cases, and they have had 22 deaths. There have also been deaths in Hong Kong, Taiwan, France, the United States, and the Philippines. There have been 40 recorded cases and no fatalities to date in the United Kingdom. Next question. Why is this worse than normal influenza? And how worried are the experts? Well, they don't know how dangerous the new coronavirus is, and they won't know until more data comes in. The mortality rate is around 2% in the epicenter of the outbreak. That's Gudday province, and less than that elsewhere. For comparison, seasonal flu typically has a mortality rate below 1% and is thought to cause about 400,000 deaths each year globally. I repeat, 400,000. SARS, by the way, had a death rate of more than 10%. Another key unknown is how contagious the virus is. A crucial difference is that, unlike the flu, there is no vaccine for the new coronavirus, which means it is more difficult for vulnerable members of the population, especially elderly people or those with existing respiratory or immune problems, to protect themselves. Hand washing and avoiding other people if you feel unwell are important. One sensible step is to get the flu vaccine, which will reduce the burden on health services if the outbreak turns into a wider epidemic. So, I know, we've all heard a lot about the coronavirus, but it's something we need to take seriously, pay attention to, okay? That's why I decided to share that information with you again this morning. All right? Now, let Georgie Porgy take a little look here and see who they and who do they. Hello. Let me take a look. And yes, taking a little while for this to come up. Okay, here we go. Grenada Sunshine. Well, Grenada Sunshine. Congratulations. Looking forward to your visit. Good morning, Penny. Did you get all that snow you were expecting? Yay? Penny is in northern Quebec. John Franco saying good morning. So is Anthea Rollo and Claude Putnam, Bernard Gilbert. So is Kippy. Kippy is sending his blessings. Margaret Francis saying good morning. Ryan Jabon. Well, Margaret, things are going to be a little bit different this morning without a piece from you, eh? You made us sort of addicted. Ryan Jabon says, so Grenada is Chinese territory. Plane number 3 of Chinese landed at Maurice Bishop International. Geez, coronavirus is near me in Orlando. Tampa, Florida. 2 hours away. Are you in Tampa or Orlando? You got me confused. Oswald Darbo is saying good morning. Hello there, Ozzy. And Thomas saying good morning to, loved people here in Grenada. Oh, you're so sweet, Ann. Thank you. T.F. Richard says he's late. Well, not really. You're here, boy. Anthony de Riggs is on there. And let me see here. Carlene Vespre is also there. Bradley Vesper is saying good morning to you guys, and so is Carlene. And Harry Gibson. Oh, Harry. Margaret is laughing her head off. I don't know what are you laughing at me? Emerald Harris saying good morning. Gorge. Hello. Emerald. Gorge says hello. John Franco says I must be in the center. We don't care where you are. We just care that you are here, Johnny boy. And yeah, Ryan Jabon says he's in Orlando, Florida. That's what I thought. Yeah. Okay, so that's the initial batch of good mornings, my dear friends. And right now, let's program our first little commercial block here, and we'll be back with the National Report after this.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
One more for the road. Look, I find you had a little too much to drink, you know. Let me drive. Nah, man, I good.
Alcohol causes drowsiness, slow response time, distorted vision, impaired decision-making, blackouts, decreased coordination. Drinking water does not make you less drunk. Never drink and drive. It takes only a second.
Look, I'm really sorry.
Sorry? Sorry can't bring back my sister. You've been drinking. I can smell it. Why?
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Speyside.
GrenLec, energizing our Grenada.
Expanded Bureau of CARICOM heads to work towards managing outbreaks of COVID-19. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Monday, March 2nd, I am Leslie Ann Johnson. A framework has been established for an expanded Bureau of CARICOM heads of government to marshal the resources necessary to increase their capacity to contain and manage outbreaks of COVID-19. That announcement by Chairman of CARICOM, Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley, when she chaired a special meeting in Barbados on Sunday to discuss with colleagues ways in which they can protect the region from COVID-19. Grenada was represented at the meeting by Minister for Health, the Honourable Nicholas Steele. The decision to hold a special meeting was taken by Ms. Mottley following consultations with outgoing CARICOM Chairman, Prime Minister Alan Chasney of St. Lucia, after both leaders participated in 2 emergency meetings of the Council for Human and Social Development COSAD and Chief Medical Officers on COVID-19 via video conference last week. Prime Minister Mottley says the meeting settled on a regional protocol that establishes minimum standards as to what is expected from the cruise industry and CARICOM member states. A subcommittee for the expanded bureau has also been created.
The subcommittee of the bureau, expanded bureau, so it will be Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and Antigua, will start work immediately to see how, in partnership with CARFA and PAHO, we can work with these stakeholders to see how we can marshal the resources necessary to immediately meet our concerns nationally, regionally, and with our partners, particularly in the case of the cruise industry, those of us that are home porting have particularly different responsibilities from those who are just a cruise destination.
Head of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Clarissa Etienne, who joined the meeting via Zoom from Washington, D.C., said as of March 1st, 2020, there were globally 86,933 confirmed cases of COVID-19 with 2,977 deaths and 60 countries with reported cases, 5 of which were new. She said that as of Friday last, the WHO had upgraded the risk levels for all countries as very high.
WHO has fallen short of naming this outbreak a pandemic, but it is expected that very soon there will be a naming of the pandemic. The outlook for the CARICOM region, therefore, there is a high likelihood that we will see cases in this sub-region. It's already here. We have cases in St. Martin. WHO does have great concern for the situation in some countries, particularly those countries with weak health systems.
Sunday's meeting targeted mainly those in the cruise industry, and another meeting is being planned for March 13th for those in the airline industry. Chairman of COSAD, Minister Malwin Joseph from Antigua, says capacity building will be a crucial aspect of their operations.
The fact is that we have moved now from a state where we are mitigating to a state where we are adapting in the Caribbean. And that means that the Caribbean must build capacity in the reality that one day we'll have to manage a case of COVID-19. As was stated before, it's not if, it's when.
Meanwhile, Health Minister the Honorable Nicholas Steele says because of the inevitability of the virus entering the region, they agreed to work with the cruise ship industry to help improve capacity of all islands. He says there was also agreement at Sunday's meeting to put SEDIMA on full alert and have coordination with the agency with respect to COVID-19.
It was determined at that point, based on the participation of Pan American Health Organization and CARFA, that it is an inevitability that COVID-19 will arrive into our shores throughout CARICOM. In fact, while we were at that meeting, St. Martin and St. Bart's confirmed their first cases. So we do expect it. So we are now focusing a lot of our resources on the inevitability as opposed to the port protection. While we still remain diligent and still continue our maximum efforts at our port, we are also, as we have been doing in Grenada since mid-January, preparing for the inevitability. The first part of that preparation is to protect your ports of entry as much as possible to delay the inevitability, but also to recognize now that it is broken out into various countries all over the world, it is quite likely an inevitability that it will enter our region. And as such, we continue our preparation and strengthening of our various systems there, and also, as came out from yesterday, strengthening our communication as a CARICOM group.
Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell has assured healthcare workers that the necessary resources will be made available as Grenada intensifies its preparedness activities in light of the threat posed by the coronavirus COVID-19. Addressing health workers who were involved in a tabletop exercise at the ministerial complex on Sunday afternoon, Dr. Mitchell said, and I quote, "We have to treat this as a national issue and there can be no question of limitation of resources to do what we have to do. We are facing a national crisis that involves all of us, not just doctors and nurses. It's everybody. We are in this together," unquote. Dr. Mitchell, who is also the Minister for Finance, said additional resources will be made available and the Ministry of Health will determine how these will be best utilized. The Prime Minister commended health officials for their dedication to duty. The tabletop exercise, organized by the Ministry of Health, brought together key stakeholders to simulate the confirmation of a case of COVID-19 and examine the necessary actions to be taken. Representatives from both the public and private sectors participated in the exercise, and Dr. Mitchell welcomed this collaborative approach. This is the National Report. More news after the break. Continuing the news, rehabilitation work is now underway at the Pearls Bridge to make it safer for use by motorists and pedestrians. The bridge was closed on February 25th. A contract for work to be undertaken was awarded on December 3rd, 2019, but the material needed for construction was not on island and was handed over only on Friday last. The Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Implementation says work is expected to last for 2 weeks, and it is working towards opening the bridge on or before March 20th. GIS spoke with contractor Radesh Lalji on Monday.
I strip the bridge and I'm putting on the wood now, and I'm trying to finish it in a week and a half, you know. The material come out from Dusty Hire Steel Works. They come from. I put in the order for the material since in December.
Finally, in the news, the government of Grenada is making good on its promise of cabinet reform to improve the efficiency of the decision-making process. The planned reforms included the introduction of a paperless e-cabinet system, and on Monday, members of cabinet accessed their documents electronically during the weekly cabinet meeting. The launch of the e-cabinet system coincided with the introduction of the revised template for cabinet submissions, which allows for the inclusion of evidence and analysis to support the proposals put forth by ministers. The new system enables the preparation and conduct of meetings, as well as the issuance of government decisions, to be done securely, collaboratively, and efficiently. The web-based software for e-cabinet keeps relevant information organized and updated in real time. It also allows for online collaboration among ministers. Acting Cabinet Secretary Ms. Ruth Rouse said, and I quote, "An immediate benefit of the paperless system is the elimination of the need to print and deliver thousands of pages of documents each week, which amounts to significant savings for the environment and the taxpayer," unquote. Prime Minister and Chairman of Cabinet, Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell, welcomed the introduction of e-cabinet, saying that as we move to create a more digital-oriented society, it is prudent that Cabinet should lead by example. The introduction of e-cabinet and other procedural changes are expected to result in more strategic cabinet meetings with less time spent on routine matters, while facilitating more detailed discussion on addressing government's development priorities. Ultimately, the changes are expected to lead to improved governance and the delivery of government's programs and priorities. And that's the National Report. I'm Leslie Ann Johnson.
Alrighty, folks, coming up on 9:30 right now, and he has arrived. I'm not even going to show him to you, but he's there. He's sitting there. Mr. Roberts is here. I just want to get back here to social media for just a minute. Let's see here. First of all, Nicole Gittins Kishinama. Hello there, Nicole. Girl, I'm very, very anxious to meet you one of these days. Very, very anxious. Mr. Darbo is there, Pele Darbo. Keeve Roberts, I see, showing up this morning. Keeve Roberts, I just want to salute. You may have noticed that pinkies crossed, but for the past couple of weeks, we've been having some really disgusting static noise on the channel. Well, Keeve seems to have rectified that issue yesterday. Pinkies crossed. Let's hope. Right now, things sound pretty good. Okay, thank you very much, Keith. We salute you. Gemma Bain Thomas is there. Michelle Forsythe is there. Arthur Langine saying good morning. And Jillian Lambert is also there. Anthony Rollo says, well, Mr. PM, now we are in this together. Whoa. At last, your government has experienced the seriousness of this COVID-19 issue. Congratulations. Okay, so I also want to say or extend my apologies because my dear friend Penny celebrated a birthday yesterday, and George did not remember, and I blame my Outlook because my Outlook is supposed to advise me or remind me of birthdays, and it did not. Okay, so Penny, I'm terribly sorry. Scatterbrain here can't remember on his own. But she also sent some pictures of her dear grandson, Fox, making her pizza for her birthday. Thank you very much, Penny. Please give Fox a big hug for George. Okay. All right, folks, let's take a quick little break here and get right over to Mr. Ray Roberts. Can't wait to hear what he's got up his sleeve this morning, but I'll tell you, it's going to be interesting.
Gudday chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Coop Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank, and there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Calling all vehicle owners, inspection and licensing continues, and at Hubbard's we want you to be ready. From February 16th to March 31st, registration numbers 2,501 to 5,000 with single registration letter, or registration numbers 251 to 500 with plural registration letters will receive 11% off new torque tires and PowerMax batteries. Don't get caught unprepared. Visit us today at the Motor Department in Mount Gay or the Tire Bay in Grand Anse near to the building supplies.
Okie dokie, folks, there he is, all saddled up and ready to go. Mr. Ray Roberts, good morning to you, my friend.
Good morning, George, and to your many listeners. And I just heard you mention Keith Roberts, that's in Canada. Is it
Keith Roberts?
Keith? No.
Keith Roberts.
Keith, oh yeah, that's the young man. I know that. That's Keith.
You know
JK's
Keith?
son. Yeah, JK's son.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And my son went to school actually.
That's right. Yeah, man. He shook up this thing and got rid of that.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great news. So morning to your friends again, and to my friends, and to all in listeners' world. And it's certainly a pleasure being here for another Tuesday in God's world.
Boy, this morning I was telling people here, I said to ask for more sunshine in this place would be unreasonable.
Yeah, I would think so. I would hope that there could be some rain.
Yeah. Are you saddling up for the dry season?
I really don't pay attention that much.
Okay, you and me both. Let me ask you, have you heard any predictions about what the hurricane season might be like this year?
No.
I haven't heard any. Is there going to be a hurricane season this year? I'm not sure.
Well, there will be. I think, I must admit it, I'm more, I wouldn't say obsessed, but in tune with the American media, and you know what's on right now. If it's not the Democrats, it's the Republicans, it's COVID-19. So I suppose things like that sometimes, become something scanty on the air rather than, in normal times it would be big, right?
You mentioned COVID-19, and we're going to talk about that. But let me ask you first off the bat, I'm giving you the first dibs on this. What's up your sleeve this morning?
Well, I have to join with those who are expressing concern and say from the very start, our government is certainly becoming very secretive. And someone said to me a while ago, they may have a very good coach in the Chinese, because I would think it is really shocking that we, under any condition, even with how many briefcases of money, would allow a Chinese plane to come from the mainland via Cape Verde and land in Grenada. And if what I'm reading is actually the reaction of the Minister of Health, I certainly want to commend his bravery to have, hopefully implemented what he said. Because, George, when I was leaving home, I didn't go to the beach this morning. I was kind of burnt out, having played too much last night. So I slept a little late, and people were asking me if that is true. I said, well, I have no way to confirm, but certainly I have friends around the airport who will tell me a couple of things. And it had nothing to do with which side you're on. It had to do with the health of Grenada and the health of the ordinary workers in particular. Because some of the people who are the first responders down there, there are people who are going to be taking all the baggages and attending to those who are landing and so forth. Taxi drivers, whoever they are. What protection do they have? The state could only protect them by doing the appropriate things, noting that Italy, Japan, South Korea, China, you have to impose some form of restriction. And I think I've read so many pieces on your chart. God forbid it doesn't come to a country like Grenada, where the health system is basically wanting. So,
but Ray, look, it reached Martinique. It was Martinique or Guadeloupe, one of those French islands. It's in St. Martin, St. Bartholomew. It's in Saint-Domingue.
Right, but let's hope that God stays and be the cover. But we are acting very responsible, and I hope that the major organizations in particular, there is nothing political in it, to say politely and openly and be frank. Because why are you praying to God and you're not doing the things that God gives you the strength to do? Sometimes I say to some Christians I play sport, I said, you really think God is listening to you? Because you are not doing anything other than praying, uttering words. So we must use that faculty that we have been given, spiritual, because there are people who say God speak to them in the night and they have a message for the nation. Well, I didn't get a chance to speak to him yet, but I know he has given me the wisdom to communicate that the government is very irresponsible, and we must not be afraid to tell our Prime Minister and the entire cabinet They are extremely irresponsible. They are playing Juve morning with the lives of many people. You know, Juve, you do anything, old mass. After that, there's a resurrection that, look what I did now. I mean, I listen to him, I like listening to him, AV, and he will tell you when he was in a particular company in St. George's, guaranteed you have a walk come after Carnival because old mass dirty up the building and he can't do much about it. So I'm saying that's what the government is doing. They're playing old mass. There's no way we should be actually, as I said, I know we like a lot of, maybe I could borrow his word, money.
No, it's not money, it's money.
Money,
Yeah,
right. Deep,
Get
deep.
it right, get it right. Yeah.
So let's leave that for a while and pray that this thing is no longer, it is not going to be something among Grenadians inflicted by the government. That's what we must try to avoid. We mustn't inflict things on our people. And the way we're going, as I said, imagine that one of those small areas where people work, houses are close by, and innocently thinking there is no symptom, you go home and then this thing acts up. The neighborhood is all infected. I mean, we go to God to pray, yes, I'll join you in prayer. But God did give us that first opportunity to do what is right, George.
You said a little while ago, you know, you asked some people whether or not they wonder if God is listening to them. And the reason why you saw me chuckling a little while ago is because as you said that, it dawned on me, hey, maybe that's the reason why so many of these people, religious people, have to shout so much when it's as if God is deaf, so they have to shout a lot in church to make sure he hears them. Because they probably just don't believe, unless I shout, you ain't gonna hear me, so holy moly! Ray, listen,
tell me.
On a more serious note, I understand that the passengers were not allowed to disembark yesterday from this airplane, okay? I don't know what happened since, I imagine the airplane just took off of them, okay? But Ray, I'm a little bit baffled because a lot of people came down on the government when the first aircraft came and that it was actually allowed to land. Right. And then another one, came. Right. And now, it seems to me that at the time of the first two arrivals, they probably felt that they were helpless to say no to the Chinese because all the Chinese have been doing for this country, right? You just can't say no to them. But obviously, something snapped yesterday because they said, you cannot land. And I'm assuming that that's what happened. They said, your plane land, but they haven't set foot here. Okay. Where did they get the intestinal fortitude to stand up and say, no?
I just think that, you know, the game that is played by members of the upper echelons of the party has more to do with their personal gains rather than being committed to some of the things that are taking place. Because you talk to some of them privately and they would keep that conversation as short as possible. I think really and truly, and I would even go further to say, George, I think the Chinese have demonstrated very little respect for a little island like Grenada. They know damn well what we have in Granite Town Road. It's not something that, you know, we are happy with the medical practitioners that are performing under trying times. But we know that is not something that is a spectacle. We know that is something that a lot of work has to be done to improve it. And therefore, I think the Chinese are totally irresponsible in their behavior. I mean, I'm going to write a piece saying that. I mean, we're grateful for everything. The houses, the opportunities that so many ordinary people have had to go and study, become professional, serving not just Grenada, the wider Caribbean, but there ought to be some measurement of behavior. And that thing cannot be, I mean, as I said, I understand people play the political games, But there are consequences when you play those games. Right. And that's why I have a lot of respect for Barbados as a Caribbean country. You know. We're not going to meet Secretary of State Pompeo. They led the way in that. What's wrong in that? Tell the Chinese, look, we're not vexed, we're not unhappy. That, so you have, get it clean first. Let WHO sanction anything after that. That is the clear way to go. We can't be tolerant to something like that.
Somebody obviously gathered some gusto to be able to say, that's it. And I'd be very, very curious to find out. Let me get back here to social media for just a minute before they jump all over me. Ryan Bond says, the COVID-19 virus is in St. Bart's and St. Martin. Where next in the Eastern Caribbean? Doc, please stop the Chinese planes from landing at MBIA. Grenadians don't want sickness, so says Ryan. Margaret says, also in the Dominican Republic, yeah.
I said, well, we actually trying to have a tennis team go there, table tennis, and we are getting instructions from the organizers as to whether or not this event will be held next month.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to expose, it's a junior tournament. We don't want to be responsible for people's 15-year-olds, you know, if there's any challenge out there. Yeah.
Ryan says, yes, Margaret, and now in Tampa, Florida, which is only 2 hours away from me. Shopping shelves are empty of water and disinfectants because of virus panic buying.
Oh God, I hope we don't get there.
I saw some video last night of a supermarkets in the States where the shelves are just empty. Margaret says, re-COVID-19. Came into work this morning and saw this email to all staff, and she quotes here. Workforce Health and Safety has informed us that any employee who has traveled to the highly affected COVID-19 nations, that's China, Iran, Japan, South Korea, and Italy, must not come to the hospital for 14 days, even if asymptomatic.
Well, irresponsible behavior. Irresponsible behavior. That's why I'm, you know, George, I'm laughing. There's something I want to say, but I wouldn't say it because, I mean, I can't believe what I read last night and this morning pertaining to a government of the people, elected by the people, supposed to be responsible for the people, a government that portrays that it loves the poor people to the point where it will go to hell and come back and take all the fire in hell for them. And this is what you would inflict on people who really and truly, some of them really are innocent in terms of the information, because you're busy, you take up, you hear it on the radio. Sunday in the church there was a 2-minute video. The congregation didn't go. But the point I'm making, George, most people are too busy to sit and, you know, dissect much of what Margaret would have said.
Yeah.
So you listen it quickly and you're gone. But when you bring things like that, and people, and George, let's face it, let me tell you something. One thing, apart from a couple of the major construction companies in Grenada who insist and follow health and safety, ensuring that you have protected gears, go on any work site in Grenada after these 3 or 4 major contractors. People tell you they prefer to work with their hands, no masks, dust flying, everything. And they tell you they work faster and better, not thinking about the consequences down the road. So there may be people who, at Point Celine, enthusiastically go there, maybe shake somebody's hands, whatever it is. And you can't, I mean, as I said, they're innocent. Yes, you may say, we told you so, but I understand what enthusiasm does to you at times.
Yeah. Back to social media, Margaret says, the same thing in New York since the discovery of one person on the weekend. Everything has been literally flying off the supermarket shelves.
Please, please.
Nicole Gittins Kishinama. Hello, Nicole. She says, so far, a preventative approach has been adopted in Martinique. I guess that's where she is.
Okay.
She says, all arriving passengers are being screened.
Cruise ship, I wonder if they do that, cruise ship. Because the cruise ship on Grenada's Beach, they come straight from wherever it is. They take the water taxi. And, you know, I often ask the same question. They come through the terminus and are we performing any kind of, because that's what worries me the most, you know. Yes, Point Celine, but that cruise ship thing is what bothers me. I mean, what day it was, I'm sure you had about 1,500.
Sometimes that
large numbers. Yeah, I mean, they were
not
about
1,500, no, 15,000, excuse me. Sometimes you may have up to 15,000 people.
But on the stretch of the beach with the chairs, because the rent, there would be an average, depending on the ship. If it's a ship with Germans, there will be a very small number. Ship with Americans, large number. Ship with British, pretty large, but not very large. The guys, if it's Italian, well, it will be the smallest. But the point I'm making, they rent these chairs. I don't know if they disinfect these chairs after, but, you know, another person, the people picking it up after. So that's what bothers me the most about the disease. I fear that the cruise ship may be our biggest threat.
Margaret says, the Chinese will only do what Grenadians allow them to do. What Grenadians need to say, what Grenadians need today is the spirit of Fedon, Butler, Marichaux, etc. to say, hell no, this crap won't go.
Well, I would even say the spirit of Gary, because whether we like it or not, he said things that nobody else really said. I didn't know about Fedon, but I was in Gary era. And to some extent the PRG era, they were very bold and brave to say no to some things. We're not saying no to anything now. We're saying yes. To me, once there's, money, we are in the business. That's my fear always in Grenada. I mean, there's this thirst for it, whether it comes from hell, well, I don't know if it comes from heaven too, but to me, that is the biggest. You know, I read the Grenelec thing and I'm saying to myself, I mean, I may not last in any kind of government. I wouldn't sit there because of the privilege of a passport and the opportunity to go. I would certainly be a troublemaker. No, I'm telling you openly. How do I participate in nonsense? I mean, you think I could be in this cabinet and these Chinese come in there and I sit there, yes sir, yeah, no sir? I mean, there will be a voice in the wilderness, I know that. But what the hell? I mean, George, it just doesn't make intelligent sense. And that's why I question those of us who are believers. We sit there and, you know, I meet a guy, a friend of mine, you know him. I said to him, take this communion. You see, I don't hear what you hear. I don't hear the news. I don't see what you see. I just walk. Yeah. Say, you pay attention? He say, no, I don't pay attention, so I don't know. Now, the point, that kind of behavior, George, can't be in me. I cannot understand it. Because if we believe, and you really believe in something, how could you forsake what is happening on the outside? That's why I'm saying, I hope what is said about the minister is true, and if that is so, I certainly want to salute him, because that would be the first. I mean,
what is said about the minister?
Well, he said the passengers were to make a about turn. They wouldn't be allowed to land.
Here's a comment from TF. TF says, "Are we sure that the passengers were supposed to disembark? Remember, the minister and his crew went on board." This is what TF is saying. I didn't know that.
I don't have the facts, and I'm not going to listen to
Maybe that's what was supposed to take place. We can't trust the government beyond our eyebrows.
Well, keep in mind there are ordinary people working there, and they will tell you exactly what happens. I mean, we don't need the minister. We need him to confirm some things. But they see actually everything. They may not be hearing the conversation, but they see what takes place. And that's where, you know, the ground begins to get a sense of how we behave as public officials.
TF also goes on to say, no, Ray, It's a government that loves the poor to keep them poor.
Well, that is a fact too.
Antiarello says there are now 2 cases in Atlanta. Both traveled to Italy and are in the same household quarantine. Margaret says, please people, stop shaking hands, hugging and
I don't know if I'll be able to stop that.
hugging and kissing. Margaret, I know the last time I kissed. Use your elbow instead of just greet the person without touching. There's a video running around on the internet a couple of days ago.
What a foot.
My foot, you saw it? You
well,
walk
last
up
night
to
somebody did that to me because I put out my hand and he said, nah, put out your foot. Now, George, I don't know, as I see the people, I am not. Sunday when I shook as many as about 20 hands in the church. When I came out, I washed my hands and a fellow said to me, so you're washing your hands? But I don't know if I'll be able to stop shake people's hands or greet people. I mean, obviously, I would try to keep it in, in the front of my brain, but I don't know.
Yeah, there's certain things you just do subconsciously. Right. Nicole Gittin says she visited Costa Magica, I guess that's a cruise ship, last week, and they had automated hand sanitizers.
Okay, good, well that's great.
Okay. She also goes on to say, as for the crap about cruise lines having their own procedures in place, utter crap. What's some automatic dispensing hand sanitizers on board? What's some automatic dispensing hand sanitizers on board? Speaking from first-hand experience, everybody mingling on board the vessel. That's true, eh? Yeah. What do we have in place at the ports of entry and public settings? Do we have hand sanitizers in place? So the cruise company is interested about people on a poor island? Doubt that, my girl. Virus hit us, they do their visits elsewhere. That's true, if something goes wrong, hey, you just hear them cruise lines pull out and they...
Yeah, well, that's it. But George, there's one thing I would like to see.
Hold on. She says, it's all about money and profits. Captain can't bring the boat to port. No problem. She stays out to sea and runs the casino for board clients. And that's true. These ships all have their casinos on. They don't have to step out here. Right. They already don't. Michelle Forsythe says, Ray, the cruise ships have decent screening equipment on board too, along with sanitization procedures. For what it is worth. Not perfect, but they also do not want what happened to the Princess ship to be repeated. That's the one in Japan?
Well, your friend before her comment, I'm not too sure. As I said, all the procedures are really rigidly, we would expect some of it to be there, but I'm always concerned. As I said, I don't know how rigid is that system, and we don't have much of an input in it. We more observation when they get here. We more, there may be the medical personnel there, but that's what? They here for what, 5-6 hours? I don't know. I just find it's the greatest risk we face.
Margaret is responding to Nicole here by saying, I couldn't agree with you more. I've had first-hand experience of getting norovirus on a ship that was fully equipped with all the sanitizing equipment.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how rigid these things are. And I really doubt it too. But I trust that at this time it would be at its peak.
Okay. Ray, one final comment here. Margaret also says, hold on, Chinese attending cabinet meetings? I hope I misunderstood.
Where is that, in Grenada?
Was that in the news, in the GIS news of Max? I'm not sure. Anyway, Ray, listen, as I mentioned to you, I have to scoot.
Great.
But I got to ask you one thing. There's going to be a public consultation, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. They're having these discussions about the electricity policy.
The cellular law that they want to pass, the new...
Yeah. I think there's a consultation this afternoon. Boy, I'd really like to go to that.
Where is that one?
This one is at the church, the school on Church Street.
Hansi School.
Yeah, down there.
St. George's Anglican.
Yeah, St. George's Anglican.
Yeah, Hansi School.
That's where it's going to be. And they've got these scheduled around the island over the next few days, okay? So you're going this afternoon?
I made a promise I'm going to go to, this is Lent. And I
You're going to go to what?
It's Lent, Catholic, Christian period of 40 days. I have promised to attend Lenten mission today and tomorrow.
Okay.
I missed last night, but I promised that I would be there today and tomorrow.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see people don't show up for consultations in this place.
I would show up for one of them.
But I would not be surprised to see a good number of people show up because of this idea of asking shareholders in Grenada to give up their shares without...
No, as I say again, I mean, we have learned from maybe the best coaches that it's not going to get anywhere. It's going to get to the Privy Council finally. And I mean,
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com.
Upon some judges, but we have not reached that stage.
Yeah.
So I don't think that will get anywhere. No shareholder. I mean, in fact, somebody was calling me frantically from the United States to find out if that is really serious.
Yeah. I agree with you. Ain't going anywhere.
No, ain't going anywhere. I mean, between me and you, when I was coming up, I was listening to the 7 Days radio station, and we were talking about the great kingdoms, the great Babylon and Rome, and how they all fell after a time. And at some point, it's going to happen here. So I'm not bothered at all.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah, I'm not bothered.
All right, but now, you have a great day.
You too. I hope you enjoy your reacquaintance with whoever they are.
Yeah, some people coming out. Geez. You have a mask? I have some people coming on a cruise ship today.
Go bathe in the sea. That's the cure.
Pray for me, boy. Thanks a lot, Ray Roberts.
Good.
God bless you.
Conveniently located in the Grandstand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenada will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Alrighty, folks, just before we pull the curtain down here, I have an excuse sent to the class by our good friend, Mr. Peter Bishop. He says, Peter says that I'm in class for the whole of March, so I will not be in class on weekdays. Please accept my apologies. Please accept Peter's apologies. We're not going to be seeing him on Gudday Grenada. I'm sure he's going to be following us in the archives. Pilgrims, 7 minutes after the hour, parting word before we scoot from Leviticus, chapter 19, verses 1 and 2, and 11 to 18. Here we go. The Lord said to Moses, speak to the whole assembly of the children of Israel, and tell them, be holy, for I, the Lord, your God, am holy. You shall not steal. You shall not lie or speak falsely to one another. You shall not swear falsely by my name, thus profaning the name of your God. I am the Lord. You shall not defraud or rob your neighbor. You shall not withhold overnight. Hello there, excuse me. Yeah. You shall not withhold overnight the wages of your day laborer. You shall not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block in front of the blind, but you shall fear your God. I am the Lord. You shall not act dishonestly in rendering judgment. Show neither partiality to the weak nor deference to the mighty, but judge your fellow men justly. You shall not go about spreading slander among your kin, nor shall you stand by idly when your neighbor's life is at stake. I am the Lord. You shall not bear hatred in your heart for your brother, though you may have to reprove him. Do not incur sin because of him. Take no revenge and cherish no grudge against your fellow countrymen. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Leviticus chapter 19, verses 1 and 2, and 11 to 18. My dear friends, Georgie Porches, well, just quick, one final look. Oh yes, Nicole, thank you. Nicole has just reminded us, Nicole is saying here, anyway, the address to the nation tonight should calm us all. You sarcastic girl. Prime Minister Mitchell is going to be addressing the nation tonight at 8 o'clock on the coronavirus, okay? Most of the radio stations and TV stations, I imagine, will be carrying that 8 o'clock this evening. Okay, pilgrims. I think that's going to do it. Thanks a lot for joining me this morning. May the good Lord bless and keep you. Come on back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we got Sharon. Hey? Couldn't ask for more, could you? Take care.